Investment advisory and financial planning services are offered through Simplicity Wealth LLC and SEC registered investment advisor. SEC registration does not constitute nor endorse of the firm, nor does it indicate that the advisor has attained a particular level of skill nor ability. Investing involves risk of loss. Insurance, consulting, and education services offered through Diamond Life Planning is a separate and unaffiliated entity from Simplicity Wealth. This information is provided as a general information and is not intended to be specific financial guidance. Before you make any decisions regarding your personal financial situation, you should consult a financial or tax professional to discuss your individual circumstances and objectives.
Welcome to the Rock My Finances show on K4HD Radio and Talk4 TV, where we put the fun in finance. Join Powerhouse Jennifer Jose, CDFA, CMC, and Private Wealth Advisor, as she collaborates with you to create clarity, control, and confidence with your money, your way. It's not about the zeros, so what is it all about? Let's find out. Now here's your host and weekly friend, Jennifer Jose.
Hey y'all, welcome back to Rock My Finances. Here we go. Today is going to be really, really, really good. I know the B word gets bounced around quite a bit. Boundaries, especially with us amazing codependent women such as myself. Boundaries is one of the very first things that we ever learned. So our title today is, Do Boundaries Create Wealth? Why your financial power starts by saying no. Okay, so what if I told you your ability to build wealth has less to do with numbers and more to do about your boundaries? You might be thinking right now, well, yeah, maybe, because if I said no more often, I'd have more money or something. I don't know. Let's check this out. So it's not about your income, how much you're making. It's not about the stock market and the market going up and down, things that you cannot control. It's not about the strategy of your mutual fund or your ETF or your whatever, your actual stock or your bond or your any of that. It's actually about the boundaries that you can set. You might not agree with me, so stay hang in here with me and let's walk through this whole thing. Every time that we don't set a boundary, we're giving something away. So let's picture a boundary as a fence. If we are just open to everything and everyone all the time, we are giving our energy away, our love away, ourselves away, and we're not stopping the flow to make sure that we are tending to ourselves first. And I want us all to love ourselves first before we can attract all the money that we all deserve. So a lot of times it has a lot to do with our money because we're giving our money away. I'm still learning this lesson right now. One of my friends, Peter Lynn, actually just talked to me about this because I was talking about certain things, about what's going on. It's like, okay, where can we say no and still feel really good? So what do boundaries have to do with money? Boundaries are not just about relationships. Have we all heard that? Set boundaries. Don't let people walk all over you. Make sure you speak up your voice. And I have a friend that's dating right now, and she is getting to know some men, or one right now. And so what am I to do? My have tos? What are my red flags, or what are my absolutely will nots? What are my boundaries? What will I accept and what will I not accept? Will I accept someone being consistently late when they say they're going to either pick me up or meet me somewhere? Will I accept someone not pulling the chair out for me or not opening the door for me? Or will I accept someone that wants to split the check 50-50? Will I expect someone to not have a future date planned and just expect me to be available? Like, there's so many boundaries that we can set in relationships, right? We always say, right, we've heard from Maya Angelou, treat others on how to treat us. So we do have to set boundaries in relationships. And I think that's when most people talk about boundaries, is in relationships. So we're going to shift that, take off your relationship hat and put on your money hat. All right, my money hat is on. How do we spend our money? How do you spend your money? How do you give your money? Do you feel like you're in control over how you spend it, where you spend it, when you spend it, and how much you spend it? Are you in control when and how you give your money away? Are you in control over the decisions of making making decisions around your money? Do you control that? Do you speak up? So I had another friend, not going to say her name because I have a couple private friends, but I have another friend that her family and friends like planned a couple um, events for them and just assumed they go along with it. Well, of course, there was money involved in these events. And my friend did not give her okay yet, but they kind of put her on the docket because, of course, she's amazing and fun and she would probably go anyways. But they never asked her and they just kind of assumed that she would do it. So, what do you have to do? We got to speak up, right? We have to speak up and say, wait a minute, I need to say okay first on that, or, that wasn't in my spending plan for that month. So I need to adjust some things. So just don't assume that I'm good with things. Please, when it comes to money, please make sure that you talk to me first. So I'm in a community here that it's huge and there's lots of people going lots of places doing lots of things. And I'm pretty active, but I still work and I love it. So I'm not as active as maybe someone who's been retired for 5 or 10 years. And when they assume that I'm going to do some things, it's usually around time, not necessarily around money, but they don't know if I have the time to do it, which is great. So I get to use my voice and speak up. And there's a lot of things that I'm telling you, there are so many things that happen. So it's like I get to choose where I'm going to put my money and where I'm going to spend my time. So time and money are very important to me, right? So a boundary is where you end and someone else begins. So a boundary is going to say, okay, this is how much I'm going to do. And then either you can do the rest or I'm not going to participate. So we have to say, yes, I'm willing to do this, but I'm not willing to do that. My daughter's getting married. She's been to like 9 or 15 weddings. I don't even know how long over the last couple of years, like a ton of weddings, and her and her fiance too. Right. So that's a lot of cash flow and time spent in these amazing events of their friends that they adore. And they also have to set boundaries on, can I do all of this? And of course, do I want to do all this? Of course, but I still have to work and hold down my job and, our wedding planning and all of that. So sometimes we have to say, no, I can go this far, but I can do one day or maybe 2 days. I can't do the full weekend, or I'm so sorry, I can't make that trip, because now we live in North Carolina. And so most of our people are in California. That's a big flight now. So that's an extra day of travel, more funds, extra 2 days because you have to come home too, right? So there's a lot of boundaries that we have to set that definitely fall into money and time. So when that line is unclear of where I'm going and where you start, that money can become unclear as well, just like my friend. And it's like, okay, like me as well. So if I'm doing like we're doing a pickleball weekend with the girls weekend, and absolutely, can't wait to go, just signed up, here we go. Well, I never asked about money. I still don't know about the money. And here I am. I do need to budget for that, right? But got to put that in my spending plan. So I need to know about the funds as well. A lot of people, we just get excited. I can't wait. We've got, I don't even know, 12 girls or something going. It's going to be totally fun. I don't even know how much it's going to cost. I've never even asked. So I need to look at that. I need to say, okay, how much do I put in and how much does everybody else put in? And the amount that I put in, what does that cover? I'm assuming we're still going to need to go grocery shopping for food and alcohol and lunches and dinners. And okay, we're going to go out. Okay, great. What is that going to entail? So sometimes it's about asking the question so that you can set the boundary, and no hesitation on, I'll get back to you tomorrow. Right? And as Oprah's taught us, no is a complete answer. Nope, sorry, that doesn't work for me. So if we can't do that, sometimes one of the issues is it's not just necessarily about discipline in ourselves. Like, I'm not going to eat the chocolate cake. I'm not going to say yes to all the pickleball camps that I can go to, even though I would love to. It's not necessarily about discipline. It's about patterns. So when someone asks you to do something, is your pattern to just jump right in and say yes, which is my pattern? I always want to say yes. Like, we get asked to play pickleball all the time. My pattern is to say yes and figure out how to make it happen. So that is a pattern for me, right? So where did that pattern start? Most patterns start in childhood. Yes, I don't want to rock the boat. I want to make sure that everybody's happy. So like I just did this. They texted me and said, we have 3, we need one more person. Can you do it? And I said, only if you can't find anyone else. Now, I should have said, no, I'm so sorry, that doesn't work for me, because I would have had to rearrange something else. And of course, my pattern is don't rock the boat. So, and I love pickleball. So I always want to play. And I love to be invited. So when I'm invited, I always try to say yes to the group so that they'll continue to invite me, especially with my work schedule. I want to be able to be there as much as I can. But that is my childhood pattern, right? I want to be included. I want to be not rocking the boat. I don't want to be the iffy, flaky person. I want to be the person that they can count on. All of those are patterns that aren't necessary. They would have had no problem for me to say, sorry, I can't make it. Please ask me next time. Easy peasy, right? So I have to look at that. And they did find someone else, thank God. So that was good. And I did say thank you, because it would have been hard for me. So I have to look back at that pattern. This is all the work that I've been doing this week. And that's why I do these for the podcast, because if I'm doing this inner work, I'm sure one of you out there is doing this inner work as well. So we have to look at these patterns and our childhood connection with these patterns. How did I grow up? Were we trying to keep the peace, avoiding conflict, wanting approval? Any of you nice ladies out there, nice girls out there that just want everyone's approval? I still have a friend right now that really does get value from somebody else's value of her. She doesn't have her self-knowing 100% confident yet. She still needs accolades from the outside telling her how amazing she is. Not all the time, but sometimes. So are you still wanting approval? If we still want approval and we're trying to avoid conflict, and we're feeling guilty around other people's emotions, our boundaries are going to be very waffling. They're going to be strict and loose, like a jump rope. They're going to be like just a total mush mesh. And that is not teaching people how to treat us and how we deserve to be treated at all. So we have likely have learned it's safer just to go along to get along. And it's safer not to speak up and share who I am, because we don't know the outcome in somebody else's feelings. That doesn't just disappear the older we get. It shows up in our financial life, y'all. It shows up in our money. Those statements of avoiding conflict, wanting approval, and feeling responsible for other people's emotions, I promise you, is showing up in your abundance, in your wealth, or lack of abundance. So the way you've learned to survive emotionally becomes how you operate yourself financially. I'm going to say that one more time. The way you have learned to survive emotionally in childhood becomes how you operate emotionally in your financial world. So sorry, y'all. Yes, our children are absolutely running our financial world. And you can see it if you look around yourself. Look around what's happening in your financial world right now. It will definitely mirror your childhood, and it will be less than on the emotional work that you're working on or that you've already done. I have been recovering codependent for 35 years, a long time. And so I've done a lot of work around that. But as you can see, I still want to play pickleball, right? It's still there. So we still have to look at it every so often. It's going to bounce back and hit us. So how did the lack of boundaries show up in our money? Here's one easy way: saying yes when you mean no. So, anytime somebody asks you to do something, yes, I'm going to do that. When really, I really want to say either I'm not sure, I need to check my spending plan and my forecast for the next month or two, or I really just can't do that. That's just not in my, I hate the word budget because that's restricting. I like the word spending plan. So it's not in my proposal. It's just really not in my forecast. It's not what I'm planning. It's not in my plan right now. Another reason, giving money away that you cannot afford to give. Oh, I'm so guilty of this. I'm doing it right now, which is why I needed the feng shui. I just did an episode on feng shui. Check that out with Kelly Jones. She's amazing. Because I want to see about my house, because I am doing that right now. And I know that. So when we say yes on giving money away, is that in your plan? I can afford it. I can't afford it. So I don't like that word, can't afford it, but it's not in my plan. I'm giving more money away than I had planned for. And so that is not being true to myself first, which means I'm walking all over myself. So if we set a diet or a calorie plan or a 10,000 steps a day or an exercise plan, or we're so easy to tell ourselves that we're not important enough to stick to that plan. And that's what we do. We're literally telling ourselves that we don't respect ourselves when we don't give ourselves that benefit. And that's what I'm doing right now by just doing this. So I'm re-looking at all that. So I want you to too as well with me. So when we avoid hard conversations, I call them conscious conversations. We have to be conscious in the conversation, and we have to be aware and be able to speak up our true selves, our authentic voice, and letting the outcome be the outcome. So when we're doing that, we might not be being true to our money when we are avoiding the hard conversation. So like my friend, she needed to have the conversation with her friends and her family that said yes for her and obligated her to these money situations. She had to say something to them. Love that. And please don't expect me to go along with something without getting my clarity on the okay to move forward with anything that has to do with financially with me, because I have a plan and I want to stick with my plan. So we have to have those hard conversations, which means we have to break the pattern of being emotionally tied to the outcome. We have to say our piece and speak our voice without being invested in the outcome. It is what it is. It lands at how it lands. People feel how they feel. I cannot be responsible for your feeling around how you're going to accept my boundary. That's not what that's about. And as long as we do it with clarity and love and not coming out of fear, we're coming out of love, they're going to accept your boundary if that's the type of person they are. And maybe we don't want people in our lives that cannot accept our boundaries for us, because that's just us being us and we're being true to ourselves. So maybe we need to ask more questions. Maybe we need to stay a little bit more quiet when something feels off, when something feels like it's not connecting. And maybe we need to not make that decision if you are not a 100% hell yes. Intuitively, trusting your gut, mind, body, soul, it fits in your plan, it fits in your calendar, everything's good, it's a yes. And if it's not, take a minute, take a breath, step back, let's reevaluate this. It doesn't feel like you're giving money away, but you're giving your power away. And then the money follows the power when we are not being true to ourselves. So we want to make sure that we're being true to ourselves. Here's subtle ways that women usually give themselves away. Whatever you think is best. Have you ever said that, especially to a spouse or some friends? I don't want to make a big deal out of it. Yes, I'm sure we've all said that. It's fine. I'll figure it out. I bet you my friend said that to her friends and family. I can hear her saying it now. I'll just cover it. That's me. That's my line. If we're sitting at a bunch of table and it's just awkward or whatever, I'll just pay for it and just say, well, I'll just cover it. Like, it's just easier, especially being a single woman when you're sitting with a mixed group. Who's going to pay for what? And you have men and women and husbands and wives. And, I'm usually the single one. And so it's odd for me. So the easiest thing for me to do is just pay for it and cover it so I don't have to feel that awkward feeling. When I should say, happy to cover my part. Here's my credit card for my part, right? All right, happy to chip in. There's a lot of things that we can say. Whatever you think is best is not okay. We have to be able to say, well, I feel like this might be equal. How does that feel to you? I don't want to make a big deal out of it. I know this isn't a big deal. However, this is how I'm feeling. It's fine. I'll figure it out. No, actually, let's talk about it real quick. This is how I'm feeling, right? There's a lot of different things. Every time we override ourselves, we disconnect from our financial clarity. And I promise you that blocks wealth. Wealth requires clear decisions, consistency, ownership, long-term thinking. Wealth requires us to be clear, confident, and in control of our money. And when that happens, more wealth comes and abundance comes. We do not want to get emotional. We don't want to have emotional spending, overgiving, avoidance, lack of clarity. We cannot build wealth while we're abandoning our true selves and our true plan that we set out for ourselves. So here's the magic. It's about becoming someone who can hold our ground. We want to shift from approval to alignment. We want to feel that alignment. We want to feel that peacekeeping truth, intention inside of us before we give our money away. Boundaries are not about pushing people away, but they're actually holding ourselves in place. So pause before you agree, listen to your body, use your voice, start small, redefine nice. What does nice really mean to you? Every time you choose yourself, you strengthen your financial foundation. Boy, do I love that. And we become way more confident. So ask yourself, where am I saying yes but feeling no? Where am I avoiding a money conversation? This is where your wealth is leaking out. Wealth is not built on the strategy alone. It's built on your self-trust, your clarity, and your boundaries. Through your boundaries, it builds your clarity. And it's one step at a time. Because the moment you stop giving yourself away, you start building something absolutely solid, clarity, control, and confidence. That's your diamond life. That's you being a star in your life. So I hope this is all helpful for you. Set your boundaries, have those unconscious conversations, be true to yourself. And I want you all to be able to say, I rock my finances.
We appreciate you joining us today, and don't forget to subscribe to the Rock My Finances YouTube channel for more engagement and bonus content. Tell me, what is your money story? Let's find out with Jennifer right here on K4HD Radio and Talk4 TV. It's not about the zero, it's about the F word, feelings. Feelings Jennifer can't wait to explore with you next week. Until then, let's all say, I rock my finances.